In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to create a recurrent Microsoft Teams meeting link that your students can use if you are going to meet with them remotely via Microsoft Teams. And then I'm going to show you how to take that link that you created in Teams and put it into Seesaw so that your students have access to it. So the first thing we need to do is create the Teams meeting link. So what I'm going to do is open up the Microsoft Teams app that I have installed on my computer. You should find a shortcut of it on any school computer. If you do not see the shortcut, you can click on the Windows icon in the lower left-hand corner, look at the alphabetical list of programs, or you might find it in the tiles of the most widely used apps that we have. So I'm going to open up Teams, and in the app where we're going to go is we're going to go to the calendar, which is what I'm looking at right now. If when you open Teams it doesn't go directly to calendar, you will see a list of all the different applications within Teams, and you just go ahead and click on calendar. Then what I'm going to do is come up to the upper right hand side and click New Meeting. So in this new meeting box, there's a bunch of information that it's asking for. We don't have to fill everything out. We just need some basic information. And this is really just for your benefit. The students aren't going to see this information. So I'm just going to put this as my daily Teams meeting emergency use. Where it says required attendees, when you do schedule a Teams meeting, you do have to put another email address in here. So if you have a personal email address, I would suggest just typing that in. I have a test account that I'm going to put in here, so I'm just going to put in my test account. But if you are typing something in directly, you can just type it in and just make sure that you're typing it in correctly. And even though it's not in our database, you can just select it and it will go to this particular person. So I'm just going to get rid of that. Then below that, where the start date is, that's today's date. However, even if you're not going to use it today, it doesn't really matter because the Teams meeting starts and ends when you start and end it. So I'm just going to have it start on this day because I don't know when I'm going to be using this, and I will just loosely pick now the time frame of the school day. And again, time is not that particularly important because the meeting starts when you start it and ends when you end. Okay, so we have the date. But now what we need to do is we want to make this recurrent so it's accessible to us every day if we are going to need it from now till the end of the school year. So where it says does not repeat, we're going to come down and we're going to select the last option that says custom. So the start date is today, but instead of repeating this every single day, what we're going to do is we're going to have this repeat once a month. The reason we're doing this is because when you create a Teams meeting link, it puts it into your school Outlook calendar and it will absorb all of your calendar. It will put it on every single day. So the link will work no matter what day you decide to use the link, even though we have only selected for it to show up on our calendar once a month. The end date here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick maybe the first day in June. And the reason I selected that and not the last day of school is because a Teams meeting link will be active for 60 days beyond the last day it was used. So if you happen to use it on the last day of school, June 25th, the link will still work 60 days after that. And then it will just expire, and then it will no longer work anymore, so that nobody can access that link even though you're the one who starts the meeting. So once we have that information, we're going to hit save. There is nothing else here that we need to fill out. Just double check that you have a title, that you have invited somebody, that you have a general time frame, and that you have customized this to repeat once a month until the beginning of June. Once we have all that information, we're going to click send. Now that the meeting has been created, it's right over here. It's taking up, you can see, my entire day today. So what I need to do now is this meeting, I need to double click it because I need to make some changes to it. So I'm going to double click this first meeting event that shows up in my calendar. Now that I've created it and it shows up in my calendar, I have information about the link in this body here, which wasn't here before. That's generated by Teams, but I also have something called meeting options, and this is going to be very important. So you're going to click on meeting options, and this is going to allow you to execute some control of your meeting prior to ever starting. So you don't want your students to be able to get into your meeting before you do. So this first option here that says who can bypass the lobby, you want to make sure you change this to only you. And then down here where it says who can present, if you don't want others in the class to have the ability to share their screen, you're going to want to change this to only you. During a meeting, you can change that if you did want somebody else to share their screen, but by default, you might want to turn that on. Where it says allow meeting chat, if you don't want everybody to be able to chat with one another during the meeting, you can disable that. And also reactions, if you want to turn reactions off because you think they're going to be a distraction during a meeting, you can also turn those off. And once you've made the changes that you want, you're going to click Save. And now these are the settings that are preset for this meeting. Once you've done that, you can close this window, and this will bring you back to Teams, which is still open in the background. And now all we need to do is get the link to our meeting. So if we scroll down to the information here about our meeting, right here where it says click here to join the meeting, this is a hyperlink, and we just need to get this hyperlink. So I'm going to hover over that text, and I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to select copy link. Now that the link is copied, I can jump over to Seesaw and I can post this link, which is what I'm going to do right now. So now you can see I'm in my Seesaw class, and I want to make this link available to my students. There are a couple of different ways you could do this. You could post this link to the student's journal, and you could pin it to the top. But if you already have your WebEx link in there and you just want to make this a little less confusing, what you also could do is you could message this to all the students so that it's in their inbox and they have it available to them if the need arises, which is what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to go over into my email system. So I'm going to come up here to the add button, and I'm going to go over to send announcement. And I'm going to send this to all students and family members so that parents know as well. And then I'm going to type in my announcement, use this link for remote learning if WebEx is not working. And you can put in there, I will let you know if we're going to move over to Teams, etc. However you want to explain it. And then what you can do is you can click add an attachment. And then I'm going to click link. Now remember, we copied that link already when we were in Teams, so now all I need to do is come into this box, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to paste. And you should get this really ridiculously long URL, which is the link representing my Teams link, and then I'm going to click this little check mark over here. So you can see it automatically brings in the logo for Teams, so we know we did the right thing, and then I'm going to click this green check mark. So you can see here, we got all the information that I want to go out, so I'm going to click Send Now. So now the students have this available to them in their inbox if we ever need to move over to Teams. So I hope this was a good explanation as to how to create a recurrent meeting in Teams, how to bring this over into Seesaw so that your students and their families have access to it.